Hello everyone. Happy Monday. Today's Facebook is not live, or today's video is not live because I have a church meeting. So with that, I did want you to have some creativity this week so that you could watch. So I have a video for you. We are going to be doing today some alternatives with the paper pumpkin. If you do not have a paper pumpkin for this month, it is definitely well worth it to get. It is beautiful. It comes with 2 stamp sets. I'll show all of that to you in a little while, but I do have a few extra, so if you would like them, you can message me and I can get those to you. The cost for those paper pumpkins is $25, and that includes the shipping. So let's talk about a couple things first. First and foremost, mini catalog, still going strong. Things in here are still going to be through June. So don't worry about anything retiring on this one right now. The only thing that is retiring is our annual catalog, and it will retire at the end of April. I'm going to tell you, if there are things you want, start getting them now, because a lot of things are already selling out. There's a lot of things on the items that say they are discontinued and you cannot get them anymore. So if you have things on your list, you might want to go ahead and get those. So some of these items are definitely not lasting till the end of, well, some of them didn't even last till the end of March. So there are some great things in here that are still available though, so make sure you get those while you can. This retiring brings us to a brand new catalog. This is our annual catalog that will go live on May the, I think it's the 3rd, but let me just double check. Yep, May the 3rd. I can't show you the inside of the catalog yet, but I can show you the cover, the back cover. Isn't that pretty? Which I really like this too. There's a die that this will go with right here. It makes a little book edge, and I'm super excited about it. But there's lots of things. I did put my pre-order in, and of course, while I'm making this video, I don't have that pre-order yet because we were able to order it on Friday, April the 1st, Fool's Day, yes. And of course, I did do expedited shipping, but I will not have it until Tuesday, so I will probably do a video later next week with those items, so be on the lookout for that, and I'll show you what I got from the pre-order. If you have ordered from me in the last 6 months, you have been put on the list to get a catalog. Stampin' Up! It will come directly from Stampin' Up! Then in the mail, I'm working on just a small little card with some information in it that will be going directly to you as well. That'll come from me and not from Stampin' Up! So it'll just give you a little bit of information about the catalog and some things that I have coming up when the annual catalog comes out. I will be having a bingo, which I always have, and it's one of my favorite events because I love giving away products, and we play bingo, give away products, you do some make and takes. It's a lot of fun, and the cost is $45. I can tell you that. It's always the same fee of $45. And it's a lot of fun. So you will see information coming out on that in the next week. You will also see information coming out about my annual catalog in color club. So the photos that I posted last week with all the gorgeous in colors that will be for 2022 to 2024. I will have a club on that so that you in 5 months can get all of the things that go along with those 5 new in colors. That also means that there will be new paper, and with that new paper, I will have a paper share. So I've worked out all the numbers for both of those things and all the products that will be included. So I am working on flyers and the events so that you can go in and check out all of that information. If you are not on my email list, that is the best way to get information from me. So make sure that you are on that. If you would like to be on the email list, you can message me, or you can email me, which is my email is in the description on my page. So feel free to send it to me and I will add you to that list because I do send out emails with all of my upcoming events, all of my upcoming information, sales that Stampin' Up! Does, and all of that good stuff. So that is the best thing to do, is to get on my email list. The next thing is, in April, don't forget that with every $50 you spend, you get a free tutorial from many different demonstrators are part of this tutorial bundle, but it's a bundle that gives you, in this one, there's actually going to be 36 projects. There's a bonus. That would be mine. Because apparently I forget to hit the submit button for the April bundle. So anyway, so she had to sneak it in at the very end. So it's the very last project in the tutorial. So there's 36 projects for April. These cards are spectacular. Honestly, I love them, and I would like to make all of them. So, anyway, so just remember that it's $50 before shipping and before tax, okay? And then I email it about once a week out to everyone who's ordered. So, if you don't get it from me and you order, please let me know, and I'll be happy to resend it. And last but not least, this is my April club. And this is using the Blessings of Home. There are 6 cards. You get a full PDF tutorial on how to make the cards. You get a video on how to make the cards. You also get about $20 in products. For the month of April, you will be getting the Bumblebee trinkets. You'll get a bolt of the linen thread, and then you'll get half a pack of the coordinating paper that goes along with the Blessings of Home. You can always add on the bundle itself or whatever stamp and punch that we use or whatever. You always have the option to add those on, and those are at cost. You don't pay shipping or tax on that. I pay that for you. And what I do is I include it when I am purchasing all of the products. The trinkets are on sale. Right now, they are retiring, but I think I've ordered enough for all of you that do order club. So just know that I will definitely have to cut it off when those are gone. And I think that is it. So let's get to crafting, which is the whole reason you're here, right? All right. So we are going to be doing the paper pumpkin. This was March's paper pumpkin, and I'm going to show you this really quick. So these are the cards right here, and I did create those as well. So here are the 3, the way they were intended to be created. This month is the special month. March is. I know we're already in April, but March's kit got a little delayed. So I'm a little behind on actually getting this posted. But anyway, so March is the year that Paper Pumpkin, the month that Paper Pumpkin started. So every March you always get a free little gift, and this year they did 2 stamp sets, and they're gorgeous, both of them. This is the actual stamp set that goes with your kit, and then this is your bonus one. It's large, which is wonderful. Tonight we are going, or today, we are going to make alternatives to those 3 cards. And we're going to use mostly this large one right here, the bonus stamp set. So this is our first card. The paper, let me show you. Well, it's actually the card base. There's a card base. And honestly, when I saw it, I've already cut it up because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't too long, because I knew I had a lot of information. This is the card base. Part of the card base, there's like a big white kind of border around it. And honestly, this looks like a painted picture, which of course it is because it was watercolored. And then they copied it and put it onto cardstock in order to create the card bases. So all I could think about was a picture frame. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to do a picture frame card. And I've got just a thick basic white here. Remember that in the description of this video, there is a link to my blog post so that you can get measurements and all the supplies that are used today. Because there are some extra little supplies. All right, so we're gonna stick this on here. And before we do that, we want to pop up our frame around that edge. All right, so let's grab, and I'm sorry, I'm sniffling. My allergies, this pollen is killing me. But I go on Wednesday for my next allergy shot. And I'm telling you right now, if I could get them to give me 2, I would. Because boy, oh boy, is it killing me this year. I struggle all year with my allergies, but man, it's killing me this year. I have had a headache probably almost every day since the pollen started. All right, so I'm just using these and I'm gonna put them all the way around. These are called the foam adhesive strips, which are great. These are great for your shaker cards, and then obviously really good for your cards that you want to pop up a frame on it. All right. Now, we are going to take all the backings off. And then we're going to take our picture frame. There's no top or bottom to this, so I'm just going to take and lay so that I can make sure that it's all even. Okay, like that. And there we go. Sometimes laying it down like that helps. Okay, now the next thing I want to do before I really kind of adhere it down is I want to add this little leafy thing, foliage, if that's what you want to call it. But that's really a lot, and so I'm going to cut it down. And I'm going to cut it down to this one right here. So I'm going to cut off those 2 bottom ones like that. And then I'm going to stick it in kind of in this corner here. And we're going to use some glue dots for it. And I'm going to stick my head down as far as I can to make sure that I'm getting it on each petal, because I want to make sure that it stays down. All right, we're going to flip, and then what I'm going to do is you'll see that some of these glue dots are hanging off. So we want to add, or we want to fold the glue dot on top of itself. I'm going to show you how to do that. All right. Now, if you look, you'll see that they're hanging over. So all you're going to do is you're going to take and fold the glue dot onto itself. You're just going to fold it just like that. And so it's going to create a little bump there, but it's not going to be enough to really mess with anything. But then it doesn't have your glue hanging off, so that nothing will stick to the front of that, because you don't want it to get stuck in the envelope when you mail it. So we're going to do that on all the petals. And on this one, we're going to roll that up. And it does stick really well. All right. Now we're going to lay it down here in the corner, and I'm going to lay some of those petals or leaves. I'm sorry, I keep calling them petals. This is really more of a leafy thing, not a flower. That's what I'm going to call Sunday night brain, right? All right, so I'm just going to make sure that the glue dot is staying where it's supposed to. All right, there we go. Now, we're going to take some Misty Moonlight ribbon, and we're going to adhere this. We're going to tie a bow first, and then we're going to adhere it to the bottom of that. All right, let's trim off those tails just like that. And then we're going to grab another glue dot, and then we're going to adhere it right there to the bottom. Just like that. Okay, now let's do our sentiment. I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock because apparently I didn't cut myself one. Oh, yes I did. I'm going to use the inside for my sentiment. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take the Bumblebee, which this is one of the retiring colors. So you, and I think they're actually all sold out if I'm not mistaken, but it's one of the in colors. So most of you will have it. I know those that did my in color last year, you will have it. And we're going to take the one that says sending you birthday wishes. And we're going to stamp that right down here. And I'm leaving enough room down here because I want to cut off that stitched part. I'm going to close up my ink pad so I don't get it everywhere. I'm going to grab my cutter. And we're going to slice off that little bottom part there. And then we're going to come down this way. And we're going to do that. We're going to cut off this end right here so that that stitched part comes off. Then we're going to flip it around and we're going to cut off just a little bit on that side. And then we're going to flag it. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're just going to cut in. Actually, I need to cut off just a little bit more. All right. So now I'm going to cut straight up the center. Now Stampin' Up! Does have a punch that you can stick it in and flag. And I do like it a lot, but I will be honest, I don't use it very often. I need to use it more. If your cardstock is an exact measurement, either half an inch, or 1.5. I think it's half an inch, 1 inch, and then 1.5 inch. Then these will fit in. A lot of times my sentiments are not quite like that, so that's why I do the flagging usually myself. We're going to flip that over. We are going to cut us some dimensionals here. Always use these outsides. Don't ever throw them away. They are still good to use. So I'm just going to cut all the way around so that y'all don't have to watch me do it multiple times. There we go. All right, we're going to stick dimensional there. We're going to stick a dimensional here. And then we are going to pop this. Let's actually put a little bit of glue on this side just to make sure it stays on that frame. All right, and then we're going to pop this right here like that. And then the last thing we want to do is we want to add these little jewels here. So we're going to use the Take Your Pick tool to pop these right on up. And we're going to put one here. And then we need to add one more because we don't want just 4. So let's put one, let's do a big one. We're going to do a big one right there. Okay. And then I'm going to move some things out the way over here. And then we're going to take and put adhesive on the back. And because it's got that frame, I did go down the center. Typically, I don't put adhesive down the center, but on this one, I just want to make sure. And then we're just going to put this in the center of our card front. All right, there we go. Now, you're going to see a little bit of a difference in this one and this one. The difference is, if you can tell, these whites are not quite the same. What I did was I cut the front card of the card base. Let me show you an example here. Let's see. I've got a couple extra card bases in here, but not of that version. So I cut this piece out so that we could have it in the back of the frame. And then I used my dies and cut out this side so I wasn't wasting the actual card base itself. So that's kind of why you see the difference in the cardstock. If that bothers you, then absolutely go and use your basic white. All right. So that is card number 1. And let's do card number 2. We're going to save the fancier one for last. All right. So this right here is an envelope. And I'm going to pull out, let's see if I have another one of those. May not. Oh, yes, I do. So it's this envelope right here. And all I did was I cut off the edges here, and then I created a piece here. And you'll actually see there is a little score line here. Don't fold on it, because you can technically kind of put it here and you'll hide it a little bit. Not very much, but you can't see it on the card unless you get really close up to it. But don't waste those envelopes. Use those too. Become creative with them. All right, so let's take our card base. Let's fold it in half. Then we're going to take and place this straight down. And look, this is the other side, which is just as pretty and fun. You could do a lot with that side. You could stamp the flowers on it and everything. All right, and we're going to adhere this down just like that. All right, and then these are just some of the pieces that go in the kit. And so I kind of wanted to just mess around with them and make them all work together. Sorry, I think I have glue somewhere. I keep sticking to it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to attach this little label piece right here, which this looks like the back of the cardstock, or the back of that envelope, but it's not. And we're going to stick this right about here. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this piece here, this little edge piece, and we're going to adhere it. And we're going to actually take it so that the inward part of the zigzags is going to cover up the bottom of that. And this is going to lay even with the side there. Okay. So let's see if I can do this without putting my head in the dead center. Now, that does look weird with those little edges there, but that's going to get covered up once we put our mountain on it. So we're going to lay that mountain right there. We're going to put some adhesive on the back of it. Then we're going to make sure that we have no adhesive showing. We're going to roll it up on itself in those places. That doesn't want to go at all. Okay. All right, there we go. So we're going to get that to the edge. And then it's going to lay right there along the edge of our evening evergreen piece. Now let's stamp our sentiment. We're going to stamp our sentiment in evening evergreen, and it's going to be thanks. We're going to stamp it right there in the center of that label. And this is one of the labels that comes in the kit. And then we're going to take some ribbon, and this is the ribbon that actually comes in the kit as well. And we're going to lay this out right about here. We're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut right there. Then I'm going to take a glue dot, if I can find them. And I'm going to put a glue dot on one end and then on the other. Like that. And then we're gonna stick it right onto our card here. Like that. All right, let me tear that off and get that out the way. All right, now we're gonna take our dimensionals and we're going to adhere. Let's put this one on. This right over that ribbon. And we're just gonna center it. And then the only thing we have to do is add our little embellishments. So we're gonna add one there, there, and there. Okay, so there is project number 2 and card number 2. We're actually doing all cards today. All right, now let's do our last one. Our last one is gonna take us just a little longer because there's a lot of stamping. But I really wanted to use the flowers. So we're gonna use the flowers. All right, we're gonna fold our card base in half. Make sure I get it in half here. I did not score this one. Okay, and then we're gonna stamp the inside as well. I will tell you that this is a lot more than I normally put onto the inside of a card, but I might have dropped my stamp right about here, so I needed to cover it up. So it's a great stamp that if you get ink anywhere on your card, you can cover it up. And blue, the Night of Navy, is dark enough to cover it all. All right, so let's take our piece of cardstock. This is a basic white, and this is smaller than the typical, but again, if you go to the blog, you will be able to see all of the measurements. All right, I'm gonna pull in my grid paper because I'm gonna really need that, as we're gonna do some stamping. That's gonna go right off that page. All right, and I'm gonna move this over here so I can see what I'm doing. All right, we're gonna use Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, and Pear Pizzazz. So let's start with our Misty Moonlight. And we are going to, I'm gonna pull in all the stamps that I'm gonna need. There's a lot of them. All right. I had to put them, there are so many of them, I had to put them on my second tray. Okay, so we're gonna start with the more solid image, and that's gonna be what we ink up in the Misty Moonlight. Because we wanna do the lighter color, technically for you want your darker image to show, so you need it to be your less solid image, if that makes sense. All right, let's stamp this up here, right there. All right, and then we're gonna stamp it again down here. Like that. All right, then we're gonna take our Night of Navy. And we're gonna ink up this one here, and then we're just gonna line it up over those flowers, and we're gonna stamp down, not step, stamp. And you'll see it creates dimension to your flower. All right, so we're gonna do it on this one as well. Okay, and then the next thing we wanna do, and actually, let's go ahead and do our inside too, just while we've got them out. So let me grab that Misty Moonlight again. And we're going to stamp this right here. And then we're going to take that Night of Navy and do these. All right. And if you don't get it perfect, it really isn't going to matter. If you notice here, I'm off just a little bit, but you can't tell at all. So it's a really good stamp in that respect as well. All right, so let's put our Night of Navy up for just a second. And then we're going to take the Bumblebee again, and we're going to stamp in the middle. But first, before we stamp in the middle, we're going to stamp it off and then stamp it in the middle. Okay, then we're going to take this, I think it's actually a flower, but I really liked it in the center. I thought it added more dimension to our flowers. So there we go. All right, now we're going to take, actually, we're going to leave that out for just a minute. First, we're going to take and create some leaves. And in the kit, the leaves, actually, these small ones right here, came together as one piece. I didn't like it. I didn't think they were close enough together, so I just cut. But even if you cut it, just cut it straight, you can put it right back together exactly where it's supposed to be, okay? So don't ever be afraid to do that. It's one of the things I do quite a bit. All right, so we're going to take some Pear Pizzazz, and we're going to start creating some leaves in some different areas. We're going to stamp this down here. Let's get the bigger one too. And then let's do one here and here and here and here. And let's do here and here. Okay, I think that'll work for those. Now I'm gonna just do another one kind of right about here. And then kind of like right there. Okay. All right, let's take our larger one and let's add some to our large flower. So we're gonna add this one here, right there. And then we're gonna do there and there. Okay, and then let's go ahead and, we're gonna hold off on that for a second. We're gonna take these 3 little dots right here, and we're gonna kind of stamp in these open spaces. I'm gonna take the large leaf and I'm gonna stick it like right there, fill in that space, and then we'll stick a little yellow dot there. Let's stick there and there. And then let's do one small, well, medium size right there. Ah, do you see what I did? I put in the wrong ink, but that's okay. You know what? We're going to put our sentiment right across there. How about that? Sometimes that's what happens when you have multiple pads open, but that's okay. Again, I will fix it because that is what I am good at. Okay. So now let's bring this back in, and I'm not going to add any leaves to the inside of that one. I'm going to actually leave it blank. Okay. So now let's start kind of putting it together. I'm going to move that out of the way. And let's actually stamp our sentiment before we move on. That will be a good one. and we're going to do Time to Celebrate. So this would be a perfect birthday card. All right, there we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, we're going to cover up our boo-boo down there, and I am going to just adhere this. Actually, before I do that, I want to take and adhere this little piece here, and these all came in the kit. This was a larger piece, and I cut it down. If you look at one of the samples here, that's the original size right there. And then I just cut it in half. Or it might actually be a little bit more than half. I think it's like 1 inch, and I think it's like a, maybe 1 3/4 inches is the total width of it. So anyway, we're gonna attach this, if I can get to the edge, there we go. We're gonna attach this right about here. We just want a little bit of that green showing through, and just want to make sure it's straight. There we go. And then the whole thing's going to go flat. All right, and again, we're going to cover up our yellow flower there. I mean, our yellow flower, our yellow leaf. All right, I need to get that to the edge, and this little embossed piece is going to hang over just a bit, but that's okay. We're going to cut that off. All right, so we're just going to flip it and then cut it right on off. Okay, now we're going to take and wrap some twine around it, and we're going to tie a pretty large bow on this side. So I'm going to flip it. And I like how the linen thread is actually all curly and stuff. It makes it look really cute, I think, in my opinion. All right. Or make it a little smaller than that. Okay, and then we're going to cut off those ends right about there. So then we've got cute little curls there. Then we're going to take our sentiment and we're going to attach it to this little banner right there. This kit comes with a lot of cute little like pieces like this, which is really cute. All right, so we're going to kind of attach it in the center, and you'll notice that this Time to Celebrate is just about the exact same size as that back piece. All right, now let's take it and flag the ends. So we're going to go straight up and then come up from the corner to that cut center line, and then do it again. Okay, and then we're going to move to the other side and do it on the other side. Up. And I'm not a huge, like, I like the little tiny banners. I don't like it where they're halfway up the sentiment. I like them to be little, little flags on the end. All right, now what we're going to do is actually adhere this right over our linen thread, and we're going to just kind of butt it up right there to the end. And yes, it's going to hang off on that side, and we're perfectly fine with that. We need it to do that. And I'm going to grab a couple of dimensionals, and on these I'm going to kind of zigzag them on the back, and the reason for that is I want it to adhere the ribbon or the twine from the thread, the linen thread, from moving, but I also want it to attach to the paper and not just the linen thread. All right, so let's stick it all right there. Okay. All right, there we go. Now you'll see I got some Night of Navy right there. That's okay. We will put an embellishment over it. So now let's stick some dimensionals on the back. And 3 more. One there and one there. All right, then we'll take all these backs off. And now we're going to stick it on the front of our card base. And it's going to be centered on there. And if you'll notice, that does not hang off the edge. And it's because we have a smaller piece of basic white for our layer there. All right, so now let's take our embellishments here. We're going to stick that one right there. Then we're going to take a big one and stick it in the middle there. And take a small one, put it there, small one there, small one there, and we need a large one for that one there. And that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's add one more right there, just for good measure. Okay, and then let's put in our other stamped piece that we did on our inside. All right, and then you can, obviously, because you've got time to celebrate there, you could put happy birthday on the inside, and then it could definitely be a birthday card. All right, so there are our projects using our paper pumpkin for the month of March, and these are our alternative ones. I hope you enjoyed them. Again, make sure you check out the blog for the additional products that were used, like the ribbon and this frame here. If you have any questions, let me know, but make sure you go check that out for the products and for all the measurements. And I will see you guys next time, and next Monday we'll be live. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye.